Yeah.
Just go and play some tune.
My heart was captured, my soul surrendered. I spent a lifetime waiting for the right time. Now that you're here, the time is near. At last, it's now or never. Come hold me tight, kiss me, my darling, and be mine tonight. The world is away. It's now or never. My love won't wait. Of MC, you don't think life comes in tea, but hey, she's just 17. She feels that she's a worthy girl, but many have been around her. She is just someone's daddy's girl. Even though there's nothing I can say to you and make so wide and right. Let you down easy, rock is on the way. Let you down easy, and you grow up in time. Let you down easy, rock is let you down easy, and you grow inside. In her strawberry eyes, the way she sees you, she signifies she's susceptible to your velvet cloud. But if you must lay it down, may your butterscotch clothes be adjusted down, and please do not leave her on when you leave town. Oh. And even though there's nothing rose can say to cheat you and that's away, let her down easy. Her heart is on the line. Let her down easy, and you go up inside. Let her down easy. Her heart is on the line. Let her down easy, and you go. It's over now. I can't go back to living through your eyes. Too many lies. And if you don't know by now, I can't go back.
Check.
Someone else, not anymore. I never had the chance to do it my way. So now it's time for me to take control. And I am not afraid to try it on my own. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I live my life the way I feel, no matter what I can read. You know, it's time for me to do.
Come on, let's go.
I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to lie. I know just how to fake it, and I know just how to scheme. I know just when to face the truth, and then I know just when to dream. And I know just where to touch you, and I know just what to prove. I know when to pull you closer, and I know when to let you loose. And I know I'm nothing at all. She's one of them ladies. I'm nothing at all. We're making out with these babies. I'm nothing at all. Let me tell you something, baby. I'm nothing at all. You gotta get something. I'm nothing at all. Whatever you do, you gotta get something. So this is what I have to say. I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to lie. I know just how to fake it, and I know just how to scheme. I know just when to face the truth, and then I know just when to dream. And I know just where to touch you, and I know just what to prove. I know when to pull you closer, and I know when to let you loose. And I know the night is fading, and I know the time gonna fly. And I never gonna tell you everything I gotta tell you, and I know I gotta give it a try. And I know the wrong will reach it.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon all. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. And I am your host, Sharmin Prince. I'd like to welcome everyone that is on the live feed. Welcome to all the first-time viewers, my sometime viewers, and my all-time viewers, all my supporters, all my listeners via the TuneIn app, via the Vibes Up Radio app, or the internet. I want to say thank you for your continued support, and welcome to our show today. So today we'll have a twofold show because we had this topic on Facebook that I really want us to touch on tonight, but we're going to start with single parenting. But before I go do that, I share the topic with you. I want to wish you, anyone that is celebrating their birthday, I want to wish you happy birthday. I think I saw someone wishing someone happy birthday on the live feed. But happy birthday to you. May you live to see many more. If you're celebrating an anniversary, happy anniversary. If you achieved something, graduated, congratulations. I want to congratulate my grandnephew in Guyana who wrote CXC and got, I think, 2 1s, 4 2s, and 2 or 3 3s. So congratulations, Wayne Ford Jr. And to all the children in Guyana or all the young people in Guyana that actually took the CXC and were successful. And throughout the Caribbean, okay. Yeah, throughout the Caribbean, if you took the CXC and you were successful, congratulations. And remember that the sky is not the limit. There is a place beyond there that you can explore. So don't stop with the CXCs. You know, go to the university and do whatever it is that you dreamt of doing. So congratulations to everyone. My condolences to anyone that lost a loved one. Condolences to you and your family. So welcome again to Talk Time with Sharmin, and I'm your host, Sharmin Prince, and today we're talking, our first topic is about single parenting. The question is, do you believe a single parent can raise a child of the opposite sex? I didn't start the discussion on Facebook because when I posted the topic for today, I saw people already saying yes, 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 and I did not engage because I want to hear from you tonight. If you believe that a woman can raise a man child and a man can raise a woman child. And when I say raise, where that child is well grounded psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, because those components, a lot of times we don't factor in that. We grew up in I'm from a single parent household. We grow up in single parent households, and you know, we don't want to offend our parents, especially if they're alive. And we want to, some of us continue to wear the mask and present the facade and operate in the masquerade, thinking that it's all perfect. But I have my own views about single parenthood, because as a woman growing up with a mother in a single parent household, I did not have a father who could have showed me how to, or I did not have a role model on how to interact with men in an intimate relationship. So I had to learn for myself. I had to, you know, fall down, get bruises, and all of that because I didn't have a male figure. So, but that's my view. We don't want to touch that. I want to hear from you tonight. The number, let me pin the number on the live feed. My number is, the number here is 718-342-0510. Again, 718-342-0510. Do you think that a single parent can raise a child of the opposite sex successfully? And that child is well grounded. That child is emotionally strong, physically strong, and psychologically strong. right? We have to ensure that when we're responding to that question. And tonight I want to say our DJ Hill, DJ Chester couldn't make it, so DJ Curry, oh my God, is filling in for me. Thank you so much, DJ Curry. And I hope that DJ Chester shows up 7 o'clock, because if not, you're stuck with me.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
All right. But thank you so much for always being there.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Yes, yes, yes. So, do you believe that a single parent can raise a healthy child of the opposite sex? Do you think mothers raise very good men, healthy men? Share the post, share the post, share that post. And when I say raise, I mean that they're emotionally, they're well, of course, physically, they're psychologically and mentally sturdy, strong, not, the pretending that, they were all that. So, let's talk about that. Call me 718-342-0510, 718-342-0510. Join in the conversation. Do you think that a single parent of the opposite sex can actually raise a child like a mother? You think a mother can successfully teach a male child how to be a man? Is that possible? Could you, and I know that I have a lot of single parent listeners, you can call, you can talk, let us know, do you think that as a single parent, if you're a male and you raised daughters on your own? I mean, I have a very good friend of mine who raised his daughter. But can a man teach a woman how to be a woman? Can a woman teach a man how to be a man? I really want us to have this conversation tonight, so don't be shy, call in, because the latter half of the show is where we're going to have the fun, because I'm going to share my feministic views. So let me tell you guys about that. I wrote something on Facebook, and I didn't see it harsh. It was just my views about what we should, as women, how we compromise, and what we should be doing in relationships, and and I asked a few questions, and a young lady messaged me, and she told me that I come across as a feminist, as a man hater, and I bash men. No. I have feministic views, and I don't see anything wrong in that, and tendencies and ideologies. Yes, I do. Check. That's you call. If you want to call that being a feminist, so be it. But a man hater, no, honey. I love men. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. And bashing men, I don't think I do, because I'm pretty fair. And because I love them, I don't bash them, but I'm truthful. So if you ever heard me speak about men and it's the truth and you deem it as bashing, but I don't feel I do that. But I didn't even want to give credence. But if I'm talking about a feministic tendencies. You guys need to know where it came from. That's where it came from. And my post had nothing to do with that. So later on, if we have time, we'll talk about that. But I really want us to get into the discussion of, can a single parent raise a
You're in tune to
child
the Irish
of
sound.
the opposite
Sound of
sex,
every time. The sound
and
of
that
sound.
child is healthy emotionally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually? It's a well-rounded child. Can a parent of the opposite sex do that? The number is 718-342-0510. 718-342-0510. My single parent sisters and my brothers who grew up in single parent homes, can you call in, share your views? Let's have this discussion.
Check. Well, you don't hear the topic for tonight. Let's have some fun with it while we get serious in here at the same time, you know?
Whatever you do, you gotta get something. So listen to what I have to say. I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to lie. I know just how to fake it. Every time I see you, wanna raise up the sun, I'm screaming through the waves in your head. And every these words keep a secret. It's only we know. And how long can they keep it? 'Cause we two lovers who lose control.
We're gonna take it to the street. Call you live on Vibes Up Radio. Call you live.
Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. Caller, you're live.
Hi, Sharmin. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening. How are you?
I am very well. I'm very well. I just thinking that I might call in and share my thoughts on your topic.
Yes.
I think is very interesting and very intellectual. My personal view is that I don't think that a single man could successfully raise a daughter, and I don't think that a single woman could successfully raise a man-child. And for the simple reason is this, is that the first example of a man that a daughter would see is her father. And the first example of a womanhood that a son would see, a man-child would see, is his father. And it goes both ways. The first example a son would see from a woman is his mother. The qualities, the interaction, the way she interacts with his father, the way they settle differences, and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to choose the man-child to emphasize on. A woman might think, and I've noticed that every Mother's Day, people would wish their friends a happy. Every Father's Day, as a matter of fact, people would wish their friends a happy Father's Day, and to all the mothers out there who played the role of fathers, happy Father's Day to you as well. And I think that is so misleading and so disingenuous, because a woman could only be the best mother she could be. A woman is not a substitute. A mother is not a substitute for a father. There are things unique to a father that only a man could impart to his son. There are things unique to a father that only a father could impart to his daughter. For instance, how should a guy treat his girlfriend? The only person that could correctly and accurately impart that to his daughter is a man. He's the only one that can tell her, say, listen, there are certain behaviors you don't accept from a guy. You understand me? And it's likewise the same thing with a son and his mother. The mother would say to him, listen, you don't do certain things to a girl. You don't say certain things to a girl. You don't treat them the certain way. Because if your father do these things to me, this is how I would feel. This is how it would hurt me. This is how it would set me back. This is how it would give me an impression of how men are. So with a woman, just a woman all by herself, raising a man-child, they're so... Now, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have a decent upbringing, that he knows how to respect his elders and stuff like that, and good work ethics, and she would, make sure that he does his homework and take in his education and stuff like that. Any parent can do that. A grandparent can do that. An uncle can do that. An aunt can do that. But we are addressing the issue of the role of a man in his son's life, the role of a man in his daughter's life. Thus, the two-parent home, how important it is, and how absolutely imperative it is to raising well-rounded children. Because a child would only draw as much as he could from that single person, from that mother. And that mother, with her unique feminine instincts and stuff like that, there's only so much she can share with this man-child. You understand me? And there's definitely certain things that she wouldn't be able to impart to her son from a man's perspective. Where a man would be able to tell him, that this is how you know that a woman likes you, or this is how you know that a woman is genuine and stuff like that, because there's certain things, there's certain instincts in a man that is unique to just us, not women, that we guys, that we pick up on, and we were able to share with our sons. And for instance, the simple things that you tell them, say, hey, listen, you make children, you got to take care of them. You make children, you got to take care of them. I could remember when my wife was first having children for me and stuff like that, we had a discussion, and I told her, I said, hey, listen, these are my children. You had these children for me. And she would get all upset, and she's like, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Those are my children. I said, no. You had these children for me. These are my children. And I let her know. I said, let us suppose that you take me to court for child support. I said, what would the judge say to me? The judge would say to me, hey, Mr. Williams, you got to take care of your children. These are your children. These are your sons. These are your daughter. You got to take care of them. You got to mind them. You got to support them. You understand me? So when we're talking a parent of the opposite sex raising a child of the opposite sex, of course we're going to raise them in our house and make sure they got manners and stuff like that. I don't want to repeat myself and stuff like that, but there's certain unique qualities that could only come from a woman that she could impart to a daughter. And there's certain unique qualities that comes from a man that he could impart to his son that the mother can't, and that the father can't. So as much as we might, we tend to feel that these children are well-rounded because they're raised by a mother who worked her knuckles off to give them everything they want and stuff like that. But the man is missing that important element that he would see getting up every morning and going to work, that he goes to work, and that he comes home, and that he makes sure that everything we want is in the house. Somebody offends us, my mother shouldn't have to go out there and stand up on the front line for me. I should say, Daddy, so happened at school, or Daddy, so is messing with me in the street. And Daddy should be able to go out there and represent me and let them know, hey, look, this is my son, this is my daughter. And they're saying so. And I'm telling you now, stop it. Stop pulling at her, stop tugging at her as she walks in the street and that kind of stuff. letting them know she's got a father at home. She's got somebody that's looking out for her and defending her. Because the minute they see the front line to defend this boy or to defend this girl, the first thing they're going to want to do is tease the guy and tell, oh, you have to run and call your mother. And when it comes to the girl, when they see that, they're going to say, oh, she ain't got a father, so she had to go get her mother. You know what I'm trying to say? And it gives a whole different perspective and perception of that person. Oh, she ain't got a man. She ain't got a man on her side to back her up or to stand up for her, a father. So, and especially if you see young women, they end up in abusive relationships and stuff like that. They tend to feel. I've had friends who told me that they really thought that that's the way it is supposed to be. And I asked them, I said, well, why do you say that? And they would say, well, you know, I didn't grow up with my father, so I really didn't have anybody to tell me that, you know, what I should accept from a guy and what I shouldn't accept from a guy. So they just feel that the treatment that they're getting, they're already glad that a guy is paying attention to them. Much less to have the nerve to say to him, hold up, I'm not going to accept that kind of behavior from you. Because there was nobody ever there to tell him that. There was nobody ever there to tell him, hey, listen, the first time he put his hands on you, walk out, call the police, file a report, make sure it doesn't happen again. You know? And that's where we men come in as it pertains to being in our children's life. Not just a absentee father. You send a support check and you're not there. Because you have to be there. They have to see you. They have to physically see you. They have to feel your presence. They got to watch you and see you do certain things. Watch how you interact with their mother, the way you talk to their mother, the way you guys settle differences. When push come to shove, you know, they're watching to see whether you pack up your bags and you leave, because you say, listen, this is too much pressure for me. I can't handle this anymore. I'm gone. They want to see you there. They want to see you dig in. So now when they grow up now, and that's where they get their whole work ethics. They get the whole ethics of family and how to strive and how to not give up. Because now they're going to say, well, no, I watched my father weather the storm. I watched my father go through some real hard times, and he never walked out on us. He was always there. You know? I watch my father love my mother. I watch how he treat her. I watch him be tender to her. I watch him cuddle her. I watch him be affectionate to her. He never raised his voice on her and that kind of stuff. I never see my father hit my mother. They might have differences of opinion and they might argue, but then again, I never see him cuss her out and call her the B word and all of that kind of stuff.
But I have a question. I mean, we can argue this both ways. Someone may, and I would like you to stay tuned in, because I know people would have different views, and someone would say that I know people that were a part of a nuclear family, had both parents in the house, but they're still not well-rounded. So what do we say about that? You know, you were from the nuclear family, you had both parents in the household, but maybe daddy was just there present and he never contributed to your socialization as a male. So it could be argued both ways, but you know, let's see what the other callers have to say. Mr. Williams, please stay tuned in.
Sure. Okay, Sharmin, thanks for taking my call.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Keep us secrets. It's only we know.
Caller, you live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Hey, Sharmin, it's me, Tyrone.
Hey, my brother.
I guess the sun eclipsed today and allowed some of our ancient brothers, like in the form of Mr. Williams, to come forward with their methodology on parenting. If my mother was alive, she wouldn't have loved to hear that talk that man just gave about which parent is most suited to talk to a boy child about dating girls and this different kind of stuff. It's those type of attitudes that have us in the condition that we're in today, where we think that the man is supposed to know how to talk to a woman. A man knows nothing what a woman wants. Only a woman can tell you about a woman, her body, her intellect, and her mind. So when we need to get away from that stuff, you know, right now I'm so emotional because I remember how my mom sat down and talked to me about girls. It wasn't my dad, okay? It was my mother who sat down and talked to me as a woman. You know, her first words, she said, Tyrone, I'm your mother. I'm a woman. I know what a woman needs. Okay? Your dad can tell you how to use that thing between your legs, and that's about it. But I can tell you secrets to a woman that your dad don't know anything about, and no man can tell you about. They can tell you how to talk sweet lines to that woman, but they can't tell you beyond that. My mother raised me, I ain't see jail, and I ain't going to see jail. I know I have a lot of brothers who was raised by only their mothers. I know a lot of young women who were raised only by their fathers, and they all are outstanding citizens. Okay? Society from this thing of single parents is not today. It's only highlighted because we have technology to highlight it. Single parents has been since man been on earth, because parents died for one reason or the other. That's where we get the village mentality. Where, if you know that if my daughter is 20 years old, her mother wasn't around. It's I who had to tell her about her cycle. Okay? It's I who had to tell her about her cycle. I have to go learn about that. I have to go do all that stuff. So when I hear a man telling me that a woman can't teach me as a man, or can't teach my boy children how to deal with a woman, that's a man I don't want to run nobody's children.
Ty. We all
no, this
have...
is he had strong opinions.
Ty.
Let me have my strong opinion right now.
No, but you can't attack someone for their views.
No, I'm not attacking him. I'm just, because what he has basically done is highlighted the problem that we're having in society today, when men think that they are somehow more equipped to talk to their boys about the opposite sex. What do we know about the opposite sex? Can he tell his son about menstrual cramps? I don't even know how I would be able to. I had to go find a woman to help me explain that particular part. But I was able to tell my daughter about all the different forms of sanitary napkins she can use, and that this cycle will be with her until a certain point in life. So where he gets off telling me or any other man that was raised by a woman that a woman cannot talk to us about how we should talk to women. Those are the perfect beings. It's the opposite that tells us what we need to know about the sex that we are in pursuit of. Because they know all the little nooks and mentality of how other women think in order for us to be successful. You see, we got to move away from this thing that we need to have a man to teach a boy certain things. If we have parents, we have grandparents, we have other men in the life. Right now I'm a father figure to several children whose fathers are not around for one reason or the other. Okay? But that I don't live in those households, but I contribute and help those children. And that's the village mentality inside of me. So we don't need a man necessarily in the house. Women and men who are raising children of the opposite sex need to know when there becomes a point when they need to turn to the elders in the family or the elders in the village and say, hey, I'm raising this boy. This is my first child, and I don't know certain things. I need a man to talk to him about certain things. You know what I'm saying? But other things, it is done. So we need to divorce ourselves from thinking that there's gender-specific roles in relationships with our children. There's no gender-specific roles. No woman give birth to no children for me. She gave birth to children for me and her. Because without her, I can't have the children that I call my own. And even if she takes me to court and the court said they are your children, they're not necessarily saying they're exclusively my children. They're saying that I helped create those children, and thus I own 50% of responsibility to those children. So that's kind of talking about his wife gave birth to his children. Yes, he's correct, but it's also his wife's children.
But, Ty, that's his views. And we have to respect other people's views.
I'm not saying I don't respect his view, but I'm just saying I'm presenting his juxtaposition to his views.
But that's not the purpose of the show. You don't have to present a juxtaposition. All you have to do is call and share your views. Someone is going to disagree with your views, and I don't want them.
Fine, and I like that.
Hold on. No. I don't want them to be calling the show to disagree with your views, because we're going to lose the essence of the show.
No, we're not going to lose the essence, because that's why I don't call him too often, because I know my mouth ain't got cover, and I speak straight from the heart. And often the speed bump that my lips is flat. So the words really fly out right away, especially when I'm emotional on a subject, because it's just this week I was thinking it's 21 years since my mom died. Yeah, and I would love to have her here to see me making some of the accomplishments that I'm making and what's done. But I know she's proud of the work that she put in as a single mother, as a single parent. She had to pay both daddy and mommy. Right? And I'm happy that she gave me that, and I'm happy that she had to talk with me. It doesn't necessarily mean that because a boy is growing up with a woman that he's not going to know how to talk to a female. He may be better equipped than the boy growing up with his father, because then he's not exposed to some of the meal mastigo, going out there and thinking it's bravado, beating his chest, and this type of stuff. So there's pluses in being raised by a woman. I have many I can talk about. I know to cook, I know to keep my house clean, I know to take care of my clothes and all them different kind of stuff. There's no woman that walked into my life and found me handicapped in the domestic department. And many of the women that enter my life will say, boy, I got to thank your mother, because look how you just helped me keep house. Many men don't want to get involved in domestic affairs in the house. They feel that their only job is to come home and drop a half a paycheck or some of the paycheck, and that's all their only responsibility. My mom taught me that her dad, who raised her, because her mom died early, and she didn't turn out to hate women, and her dad had to talk with her about men. And then she had to talk with me about girls. And my mom turned out rounded, and she turned out a rounded son. She made only one child, me. And I am proud to say that I'm a product of a single parent home. But it wasn't just my mother. There was my uncles and them who would often check in, because sometimes we boys need a little male thing, because when we start, the caller had said that in those aspects, a male may need to step in, because sometimes we boys lose the discipline. And we started a challenge, because we are raised in a male ego world where men are supposed to dominate and women are just supposed to submit, And then so we start seeing the boys, because I remember when I started Act Up at Home, my mom made one phone call and I had one conversation, and I never asked beside myself again. And that is how we raise children. So it is not a negative to have a single parent household. Now here is where the negative is, when that mother or that father is berating the absent parent. It's talking about the absent parent without properly explaining her or his role in why the parent is absent. I have two daughters that I don't get to see, not because I choose not to be a part of their life, but because their mothers choose that I shouldn't be a part of their lives. And every day, I think about my girls, 13 and 14. And every day I would like to see them, every day I would like to play a role in their lives. And every day I wonder, are they happy? Are they comfortable? And what's not? So you have some women who decide and some men who decided that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. To school with you, I don't want to think. I'm going to tell the children that you're a bad egg and this different kind of stuff. You don't do that when you have children and when you're a single parent. You talk to your children. You tell your children them about why when they begin to explain, well, why daddy isn't here. Sometimes the dad is not there because he died or whatever. Sometimes the dad is not there because he did something wrong and he's incarcerated. Or he may just be one of them fellas that figure, hey, I leave my hat here, that don't mean I live in here and I go on someplace else and leave another hat there. Okay. You know, but mommy has to pick up a lot of things. And why I say mommy, because predominantly it's women who carry the burden of single-parent households. So to the caller, while I may sound, you know, belligerent towards your ideas, and I really think they're draconian, but it's an emotional topic for me, coming from a single-parent home, with a mother who taught me everything I know about women.
Ty, I know you're passionate about that. Like many other men who grew up in a single-parent home and think that their mother did the best job. You know, thank you for sharing. And you're always passionate.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know any other way to be but passionate about life. And the other thing I want to address before I come off this line is the person that inbox you to tell you you're a feminist. You're a feminist. I'm glad you're a feminist because you keep a masculine man like me in check. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with you being a feminist, sister. Be feminist. That means you're standing up for your gender. Just like we boys supposed to stand up for our gender. Okay? Now, when it becomes a problem is when you find fault with every daggone man on the planet because you're a feminist. That is when it's a problem. But if you're standing up for women's rights, which has been subjugated for thousands of years, wrong with that. I am a feminist. Let me declare that too. I am a feminist. I want to see women be on equal playing field as me. And if that makes me a feminist, I am a feminist. And if I have to bash some of my fellow gentlemen to get on the boat with me, so be it. Okay?
Thank you so much, my brother.
All right. You enjoy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We gonna take it to the street again.
Caller, welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. You're live.
Mr. Sharmin, this is Godfrey again. And listen, I want to compliment the brother that just called Tyrone. And before I get into the rebuttal, I want to say to Tyrone that I think that we two share a lot of values because, as you recall on your Facebook, when the person was accusing you of being a feminist, you see I defended you and I let you know that I too am a feminist. And I think that you should not defend your status of wanting to defend women's rights and women's equality and that kind of stuff. So yes, I agree with Brother Tyrone that you're a feminist and don't let anybody deter you from that. But let me just say to Brother Tyrone, I think he validated my points. I am not saying that a woman, because your question is, you asked the question, well-rounded. Now, there are lots of women that raise sons and raise daughters and raise families where the men wasn't there, and they turn out quite well. But those are the exception; they're not the rules. I compliment the brother for the role that he played in his daughter's life and his children's life and that kind of stuff. But here is the point that I want to ask him. He mentioned his daughters, his two precious daughters that he have out there, that the mothers are withholding them from him. Here is what I would like him to think, psychologically and emotionally. What kind of young ladies are they going to be with their father absent from their lives, not being able to give them the insight and the input of a man, of a father from a man's perspective? I have always said, my mother was married twice. My father of himself, there became a time when they separated and he left the house. And it was just my mother and 9 children. And she taught us to cook. She taught us to wash because, as you know, Saturday in Guyana was the day that you did those stuff. It was 7 boys, 2 girls. And every Saturday we took turns. And I had to still go in the back and wash when it was my turn to do the laundry. I still had to wash my sister's clothes, that including her underwears and that kind of stuff. I learned to do those things from my mother, and there was no role in the house that was for boys and that was for girls. I did dishes. I helped cook and that kind of stuff. My mother taught me those things. But the fact is that Daddy left, he was still accessible to us. We know where to find him. I know where I could have gone and get his input and draw from him as a man, and him still having the influence in my life and that kind of stuff. So I am not saying that a woman, that a man can't tell a young lady about her menstrual cycle and all of that kind of stuff. I've never said that. There are some men that has performed the duties of mother better than a mother. But what I am saying, that there are certain unique values that only a father can impart to his son, that only a father can impart to his daughter. There are certain unique values. I'm not painting it with a broad brush saying everything, because there are some, there in some two-parents' home where the father is more hands-on than the mother. The mother is just really there in the house. It's the father who's really the disciplinarian. He's the one that is keeping everybody in line and that kind of stuff, whereas he's the one that's making sure, where are these girls? What's going on with these girls? Hello, you got a boyfriend? You're talking to boys? Who's this boy? Bring him home to the house. I want to meet him and that kind of stuff. And the mother, in some homes, you got some young lady turn up pregnant and the father noticed it before the mother. The father noticed it before the mother. The father would go and say, you know your daughter pregnant? And then the mother would get a shock of her life. What you talking about? He's like, yes, your daughter is pregnant. Haven't you noticed her? You haven't noticed how she's sleeping excessively and she getting fat, she's putting on weight and all that kind of stuff. I'm quite sure your daughter is pregnant. I've experienced that kind of things in my friend's home and that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying to the brother that a man cannot father a daughter or that kind of stuff. The subject matter is...
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
I think your point was clear. Sometimes we just make a statement that can trigger someone. I don't want us to get into the rebuttal because I don't want him to call back and then this show becomes about the rebuttal of what anyone said. I believe that we all have to respect each other's perspective.
Views, right. But I'm going to get off your line, but here's what I would like you to do. I don't know Tyrone, but I'd like to get to know Tyrone, but here's what I would like you to do. Share my number with Tyrone, let Tyrone know that I say it's okay, and I would like for Tyrone and I to have dialogue because I think there's a lot I can learn from Tyrone and Tyrone can learn from me.
Listen to me, Mr. Williams. My plan is when I get off the air, I would be calling both of you and asking permission to share your numbers.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, I want you to do that. I want to know Mr. Tyrone. And let Mr. Tyrone give me some education, and hopefully I can impart some knowledge on him as well. Okay,
no problem.
All right, good.
Thank you so
nice
much.
show. I'm enjoying it. Very informative and very, very educational. But it sounds to me is that you're going to have to set aside another day for this same topic.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you. Hey, you're tuned in to Talk Time with Sharmin. In the studio, I have a single parent who raised boys, and I told her that I need to hear her perspective on being a mother and raising the opposite sex. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sharmin. Thank you, as usual. It's always an honor to sit beside you.
And thank you for filling in for me last week.
You're welcome anytime. Last week was fun.
Okay. So, tell me as a single mom, what is your experience raising boys?
As a single mother, I have to go with your first call on this one. I raised two boys, and honestly, there are things that my sons needed to learn that I couldn't teach them. There's things that they needed to hear that I couldn't tell them. And as I told you on the phone today, only today I was having a discussion with my boys, and I was so frustrated and overwhelmed because I was like, you should be doing this as boys. You're the man of the house. And I had to stop myself because I realized, you know what, these are things that they should have been taught. And I didn't realize as a mother, I didn't teach them these things because I was so, let's take it to the street.
Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. Caller, you're live.
Hi, Sharmin. My name is Sharmin, too.
Welcome, Sharmin.
Yeah, I've been listening to your show, and I listened to the last two guys. And, you know, they had good points, and you know, a lot of the things they said I agree with. But as a single parent who has raised two sons, it is more difficult. I started out married, and now I think that that's probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life was raise those two boys to be good men. Now that they are adults, you know, I see the rewards of it. But when I was going through it, I would have rather, you know, done it as a couple. But I did what I had to do. I used other men in my community, you know, my church, my father, my brothers, things like that. And I kept them around good men that they could talk to even when they couldn't talk to me. And I feel like that as a woman, I did teach them my version of what I felt like a man should be, but I couldn't tell them what it was like to be a man. And I felt like they needed that because I only have what I think I see or what I, you know, but I don't know what it's like to be a black man. I don't. And it was things that they got from them that even now they're adults. When they get into a bind or something is really hard for them, they still go back and reach out to those guys for them, for, you know, issues, problems, and things. And so I feel like you can do it alone, but it's really hard. It's really hard. But it's better when that parent is a good parent and active in their life, of the same sex, too. And they always had their father. He just lived a few states away.
So, Sharmin, you said that you had men in your life that helped you with your sons. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I meant like, you know, I did at my church, at my, you know, in my family. Even if I dated, it was always a man that I felt could, like, head a household. I just didn't bring anybody into my life, into their life.
Okay. So you had assistance of male figures. So they had male figures to look up to.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though I was a single parent for that, like the last 12 years of their, you know, before they grew up.
Okay.
And now one of them is a single father, so, you know.
The cycle continues?
Well, yeah, he was married, but when he left with his 2-year-old son, so, you know, he's learning. And I didn't take over.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do feel like, you know, you can do it as a single parent, but always keep the other half somewhere near, and you can find it. You can find good men around that will talk to your sons or daughter. You can find good women, because a father, like even with him being with her, my father was very active in my life. My mother and father were together until their death. But my father was very active in my life, but there was things that he couldn't tell me about.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. And thank you for your show. Charmaine.
Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Okay. You have a blessed day.
You too.
So, Miss Sharmin, that caller also answered our question. You cannot do it alone. So, be it the biological father or the biological mother, be it someone that you look up to in the community, you cannot do it alone as a single parent. And that was my point. As a single parent, you cannot. There's so much they need to learn. But going back to what I was saying before the caller called, I was going in it with my sons, and I stopped because I realized, these are things that they should have learned. As we said, there are things that are learned behavior with kids. They're positive and negative learned behaviors. And that male figure wasn't around. That male figure wasn't active, especially in their early years, for them to see certain things and learn certain things. So here now, a single parent, raising these kids, I'm getting frustrated, and I had to stop myself and realize, what? They didn't learn this. They didn't see this. I didn't stop them to think that I should teach them this. Because you're a single parent, you're raising kids, you have your own personal issues, you're working, and you're raising these kids. They're different personalities. There's so much more that they need. And for me as a single parent, I wasn't thinking about certain things. I'm thinking about your well-being, your education, providing certain things for you. I'm not focusing on the things that you should have learned from the missing or the absent parent. And these things manifest itself as they grow and as they get older. You're like, oh, well, this is what a man should do. Were they taught it? Was that example being set? No. So I think as a single parent, you cannot do it on your own. You need the help. And there's someone or a group of people that have to step in to take the place of that absent parent. And if someone is stepping in to take the place of that absent parent at times, you're not doing it on your own. You're not. That's just my piece.
Well, thank you. Take us away, DJ Curry.
For my mama, where would I be, Lord?
Definitely gonna play a tune for all the mothers out there, man.
Where would I be without my mama?
You're not telling right now.
I have to dedicate that to my mama.
For my mama.
Oh, when you attack me, you pass your play. Know where you want to, say where you feel. Don't say me about my mother. You could have been my closest friend or an enemy, even a brother from another. Oh, mama.
Caller, you live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Good evening. Can we pull up that tune for all the mothers out there again? Good evening to you.
Pie.
Can we pull up that tune one more time for all
Of
the
course.
mothers out there? Yes, my empress.
say what you feel. Don't tell me about my mother. You could have been my closest friend or an enemy, even a brother from another. Oh, know where you are toxic. Don't pass your play, yeah.
Brother Earl, big up yourself. Let me tell them, say.
Know where you want to, say what you feel.
Why me don't know, me hear a lot of different comments.
You could have been my closest friend or an enemy.
Me hear a lot of different
from another. Oh, mama.
Ways and things that people are saying.
Tarnish your reputation. No,
I will always tell my mother Happy Mother's Day.
You left them no.
Yeah, man, my father was there, but he wasn't.
Now I'm lonely, I'm not alone. Never will you leave my side to roam.
I raise my hand every day and tell people me I'm one of the best mother in the world.
For your love still mimics my heart beating from birth till the end of time. The next meeting, I know one day will be.
Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin, calling you live.
Empress, my apologies. Good evening again. Good evening.
Good evening, Brother Earl. Good evening.
If you know me well, good evening, DJ Curry. Big up yourself. Good evening, Rachel Land. Big up Viber Preacher. Big up Viber Preacher. If you know Brother Earl well, you know I'm sitting and I'm listening and I'm like, wow, Queen Sharmin is back and it don't stop. We don't miss a beat. We don't miss a beat. Big up to the lovely Samantha in the studio. Big up, young lady. Big up. Queen Sharmin, I'm not going to stay long. I'm just going to backpedal on Ty.
Yeah.
And Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Great comments. Great comments. To the not the last caller, the previous mother that called with her two boys. Mom, God bless your heart. You tried. You tried, you did your part. You did everything you can. To the last caller, very good idea. Even if the father is not there, many of the community can step in. The brothers, their uncles can get involved and keep them close. It's not an easy job for a mother, but I must say this. Back in the days, I was born and raised in Guyana. My mother raised five boys by herself. And God bless her soul. She's resting tonight, continue to look down upon us who is still here. And she did a wonderful job. 5 boys my mother raised. You hear? And if you know Guyana, we have to scrub stair, sweep yard as men, clean bathroom. These are things you do. So like Ty said, if you think just coming home and put on half our party up here and think everything good, gentlemen, like the men them say, we're not throwing you under the bus. But again, I've said it many times, this is the real world. This is the life today. If you do that in Guyana, you cannot do that in America today. You got to get involved. You got to help out in the house. You got to do that for the men. You got to be there for the kids too. Like a lot of the women have said, and the lovely Samantha said it, and the young lady called and confirmed. It's hard for women today in these times, 2017, for women to try to raise boys. They can try all they can, but it's difficult. They got to have that male figure there. Stand up in the face. Let them know what it is. Don't lie to them. But as a man, you got to keep it real with the boys out there. Because once the boys hit the streets and get with friends, you've lost them. So to the parents out there, continue doing the best you can. Continue doing the best you can. Ty, stay with your 2 girls. Stay with your 2 girls. Try to keep that relationship with them, my brother. Do the best you can. My heart bleeds for you to hear when people close to me, these situations hit them. But stay with your girls. Try to have a relationship and continue to reach out to them. Queen Sharmin, anything for me? Wow, what a show. Big up to yourself. Big up, Queen. Big up.
Thank you so much, Brother Earl.
Always a pleasure, Empress. Always. Thank you. Big up, DJ Curry. Minus my friend. Big up. Goldstone family. Big up, everybody.
Don't pass your play. Do what you want to, say what you feel. Don't tell me about my mother. You could have been my closest friend or an enemy, even a brother from another. Oh, mama, mama. Now I'm gonna make them tarnish your reputation. Oh, mama, mama. Now I'm gonna draw me up and carry me to the station. You
sound. The sound of sound. You're in tune to Iris.